Hey everybody, it is Tuesday and we are cooking in the kitchen. And today you get a little look at my new digs. I'm down in Florida and breaking in my new kitchen. So you'll have to put up with me today if I'm looking for things or if I don't have things. Actually, it's kind of fun to see how you can substitute things in if you don't have them. I don't have everything here the way I do at my other kitchen, but I thought it would be fun just to try and use the space. So here we are. I don't even have an apron to wear. I feel naked. So today we're going to make a dairy-free cheesecake made with blueberry and lemons. So I love this recipe. It's a no-bake recipe, quick, easy to do. It is anti-inflammatory. It uses some wonderful blueberries. I got some beautiful organic blueberries here. High in antioxidants. Oxidation, of course, is what ages us so quickly. So it's nice to be eating foods, including them in our diet, that are anti-oxidative, protective for our heart and the rest of our bodies. Lemons as well, high in antioxidants, vitamin C, very good for the immune system. We have cinnamon, which is an anti-inflammatory spice, and pecans, very high in omega-3, which is also a great ingredient for anti-inflammation. So, just a few of the wonderful ingredients in this recipe. I'm going to put this aside. By the way, if you don't want to make it into little cheesecakes, I've been snacking on this one all morning, you can make it into just a little mousse. I'm going to show you a little bit up close. I'm going to take a little bite. I love that blueberry and lemon flavor. So that's just a couple of ways that you can use this recipe. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to use a little mini pan, muffin pan, and I'm going to just put a little bit of oil in the bottom. I'm going to move these things so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. There we go. Let's move these things up. So I'm just going to put a dollop of oil in a couple of these. And normally I would have a pastry brush to brush these out, but since I don't, I'm using paper towel. I will just go through. This recipe is a half recipe from the original one that I have posted on my website, eveyschweig.com. So it'll make a dozen of these little mini cheesecakes. This is the diameter at the base of these is about 1 inch, just to give you an idea of how big they are and how much we'll be making. So I've just coated this tray. I'm not even sure it's necessary. You can use coconut oil. I'm actually just using olive oil for this purpose. And I'm just going to set this tray aside for a moment. Because what I want to do is I want to prepare my crust. So let me just bring out my food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a blender for this. Food processor works really nicely for this though. And what I've done is I've been soaking, whoops, wrong one. What I want to do, we'll get to those soaked nuts later, is use my pecans. And to make the crust, it's no bake, as I said. We're going to take about a 1/4 cup of pecans, add those into our processor bowl. I love having, as you can see, a very large bag of nuts. Pecans, walnuts, cashews. You can find them in my home all the time. It was one of the first things that I purchased when I got down here. So I added my walnuts. I'm going to add in now some medjool dates. Medjool dates are very sweet, very sticky. They also come with a pit. So I want to remove the pit before I put it into my bowl. And I might give these a little bit of a chop before I put them into my bowl, because I found that it takes a little bit longer to process and it makes a lot of noise. So I'm trying to avoid doing that to you. So let me just grab a knife. Like I said, I'm fishing around for things to see where they are. All right, in my other kitchen, I know exactly where everything is. I don't have to look around, hunt around for it. So what I'm doing is I'm just chopping my dates roughly, chopping them up just so that they blend quicker. You don't have to do this at home if you're doing it on your own. It's just a little prepping that I'm doing here. All right, I'm just going to add in those dates. Wash all my hands here, they're very sticky. I added in 4 of those medjool dates. If you have deglet dates, they're a little bit drier. You probably need about 6 of them at least, maybe 7, because they are smaller. So I'm going to add in then some coconut. I want to add in 1 tablespoon of shredded unsweetened coconut. Again, I have some organic shredded coconut here. Just going to add a little bit more. There we go. That I got from Trader Joe's. And to that, I'm going to add about ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. As I said, a wonderful anti-inflammatory spice. Wonderful. All right, put that to the side. I'm gonna make a little noise here, sorry about that. What I wanna do is I just wanna pulse this until it's well mixed. And I find that talking and doing this is very difficult. But I want to grind it up nicely. Ah, that's great. Okay, let me just show you very quickly what we have here. So, nice small crumbles. What we're going to do is we're going to take our tray that we prepped, and I'm going to grab a spoon and add roughly, I think, a teaspoon full. Let's see. Yes. So I'm going to add just about that much into each one of my little tartlet shapes here until I fill up all 12 of my cups. And the dates that you add to this make it a nice sticky batter, I guess you'd say, for your crust. And if I have a little bit left over, I like to just add it into maybe some that might have gotten a little less of the batter initially, just to distribute it evenly throughout. All right, go. Don't want to waste any bit of that goodness. The dates will give it a nice sweet taste, but if you have it as a mousse, it tastes great like that too. So now I have my cups filled with this loose crust. What I want to do is take the back of my rounded spoon here, or you can use your fingers if you'd like, and I'm just going to press down into each one of these. It actually makes, if you have a shape like this for your measuring spoon, it makes for a nice little well. me. We'll get all of these in. Can get, the back of your spoon can get a little sticky towards the end. If that's the case, just wet it with a little bit of water. Yeah, like I have going on here. I'm gonna just wet the back just to push it down. There we go, perfect. All right, so there now we have our crusts for our little cheesecakes. I'm gonna set that aside. And now we can work on making our filling. So I'm going to bring over, and I'm going to, before I juice this lemon, I'm going to roll it out a little bit to loosen it up. It's been sitting out. A warmer lemon will release more of its juice. Good to know, right? Let me just clean my knife here. Get some of that stickiness off from the dates. All right. I'm going to, oh, before I do this though, what I want to do is save some of the zest from the lemon. I'm going to zest this lemon and zest about half the lemon. This is a little zester that I had here. I'm not used to it. It is a little more difficult to use than my other zester. I don't have to worry about cutting it into very fine pieces because eventually I'm going to just stick it all in the blender anyway. If you wanted to just cut the rind off using a knife, that works too. But getting the zest in gives you the oils of the lemon, which is what gives the final cheesecake that lovely lemony tang that pairs so nicely with the blueberries. So I'm taking off about the zest from about half the lemon here. Wonderful, there we go. A little bit of a struggle, but yeah. And this is what the zest, the size of the zest that I have looks like. All right, I'm gonna set that aside. Now that I've zested my lemon, I have a handy dandy juicer here, but you can just stick a fork in it and use that to release the juice. I'm looking to get about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And let's see, I'm just trying to see. I might be a little bit short, but let's just see. Depends on the size of your lemon and how much juice is in there. So I want 2 tablespoons. Which I will add directly to my blender. So I used a food processor for the crust, and now I'm using a blender for my filling. A blender works to make it smoother. If you have a food processor and not a blender, you could try it in the processor. It just won't be as creamy when you're done. And I have a new blender here, which is an austerizer. It does not blend as smoothly as my Vitamix, but it does the trick and it tastes real good just the same. All right, so as I said, I wanted to add in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Let's see how much we got. 1. All right, it's kind of a scant tablespoon, but it will do. In general, a lemon will give you about 4 tablespoons of juice, a full lemon. We're doing just a half lemon. All right, so I've added in my lemon now. Now what I'm going to do is add in my cashews. Remember I said the cashews are the key ingredient in this dish that give it nice creaminess. I drained out my blueberries ahead of time, but I need the colander. So what I did was I just took a cup of cashews and added some warm to hot water and let them soak. They've been soaking for maybe about an hour. I'm going to drain this and add it to my container here for my blender. Why do I do this? It softens up the nuts and it helps them blend up creamier. So I've added in my nuts, I've added in my lemon juice, that wonderful lemon rind, which has the oil of the lemon in that helps with that lemony flavor. I'm going to add a little bit of sweetener. And for this, I have a organic honey. I'm going to add just a little bit to help accent that blueberry sweetness. And I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons. Now, I like this level. I think it's a great sweetener. I would encourage everyone to try to minimize the amount of sweeteners that are added to your dishes, even if they are something natural, like a natural organic honey. But I spoke to my husband and he said, oh, I wouldn't mind a little more sweetness in mine. So if you know that you like things a little bit sweeter, I would say, add a little bit more, maybe, up to a tablespoon. But the goal is to try and limit the amount of added sugar. And this is one way to do that. And that's what's so great about cooking for yourself. You can control the ingredients that go into the foods that you eat. So I've added my sweetener here. If you wanted a vegan cheesecake, then maple syrup would do the trick too. All right, so I've added in my sweetener. Now what I would like to do is add in my coconut cream. So I like this brand. This is from Trader Joe's. It has nothing more than coconut and water in it. And I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup. Now, whoops, come on. All right, so a little bit more than a 1/4 cup. This is a little bit thicker than I normally would use it. It's because it's cool. I took it out of the refrigerator a little bit earlier. But as I blend it, it will blend up and warm up and incorporate really nicely. All right. So I added in my cream, and now I'm going to add in a 1/4 package of my blueberries. Where did I put my blueberry package? I don't see it here. Here it is. So as you can see, I've used up about 1/2 of my blueberry package. So it's 1/2 of my package that I'm going to add in as well. And I'm just going to give this a little bit of a stir so it kind of speeds up the blending process, because my coconut cream is so thick. Let me grab the base for my blender. As I said, I'm learning where everything is, so bear with me a moment. I'm just going to plug it in here. All right. So I'm going to put my base on. Make sure there we go, nice and tight. All right. And like I said, this is going to make a little bit of noise, so bear with me. All right, you'll notice it's starting to blend there. Can you see those beautiful colors? See it mixing in there. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a stir to help it along. Oh, that's good. Now, I don't know whether you can see, but what I'd like to see now is, as this is blending, it's forming a whirlpool. Let's see if I can tip it so you can see it. And the longer I blend this, the smoother it will get. So bear with me a moment. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we have a wonderful, rich, creamy, you can see how thick it is. Hold on, I'll spoon it out so you really can see how thick it is. All right, where did I put my, I'm gonna take, so we want about a tablespoon in each one of our cups here. So about 3 times as much crust, or 3 times more than the crust. Let me show you. Here's the consistency of it. And here it is as we pour it in. Scrape that over. Oops, probably more mess doing that. All right. And I'm just going to fill all of these. It's quick and easy. And as you can see, within this time, we've made 12 little desserts or snacks or noshas or bites. And again, if you have leftovers, just go back in and fill your cups, or as I did, I just put it in a separate little container and put it in the refrigerator to have as a mousse. All right. Which is what I will end up doing with that. Let me just grab a napkin or a towel here, wipe off some of my excess. All right. And there you have it. We have our little cheesecakes. I'm going to take some of my leftover blueberries, and I did wash these ahead of time. Normally I don't do that, but you know what? Let me just give it a little rinse, just in case. I said that, but then I thought, hey, did I do that? And then what I like to do is just put a few blueberries on top of each one. 2 or 3. Just to finish it off and give a little bit of sweetness, a little bite of sweetness. And I can continue doing this later on. But what I want to do now is I want to refrigerate them so they firm up. You can do one of 2 things. You can either put it in the freezer, in which case you get these nice frozen treats, or you can just stick it in the refrigerator, which will give you that mousse-like consistency that I talked about. I'm going to stick this one in the freezer. Now, you might be wondering, before I put this in the freezer, I just thought of something. You might be wondering, how do they pop out? They pop out really easily. And what I've done in the past is just put a little bit of water in a sink, like, you know, 1/4 inch or so, and just sat them in there in the sink for less than a minute. And then with a rubber spatula or a butter knife, so you don't want to scratch your tins, just stick it, slide it along the side, and they just pop out. It's so easy to do and so refreshing and fun to have. So I just took some out of the freezer that I had done earlier. I had to remove them from the tin because I only have the 1 tin. So, but this is how they come out when they're frozen. They're nice. It's like a frozen ice cream treat. So it's fun to eat them directly like this. They're a little bit firm, so sometimes I let them sit for a few minutes before I do that. But if you have them sitting out. Now these have been out for probably about an hour. All right, so they're nice and soft now. But you can see, I wanted you to be able to see how firm, I'm gonna bring this up close, they actually are. Hold on. There you go. Delicious. Oh, that's so good. So, I hope you get to try this. It is a wonderful, healthy change to your traditional cheesecake. If you're dairy-free, this is so much fun. And I've been dairy-free now for years. So this is a wonderful treat to be able to have. I hope you get to try it. Please let me know. And if you'd like the recipe, you can go to my website, as I said, and look for, it's actually under blackberry lemon, or maybe I'll change it. I'll change the title, but so that you can find it. But it's right there, so easy to make. Love to hear back from you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you make a little bit of a variation. I was actually thinking this would be really fun to make with cocoa, to change up the flavors. Maybe leave the lemon out, add the cocoa in. I might even still leave the blueberries in there, just to get that sweetness. Would be a great mousse then. So maybe I'll make that next time. So keep posted and you'll see. Until I see you again, until next week, stay healthy and keep cooking. I will see you then. Bye-bye for now. Take care.